Ho ho ho, 2b2tea viewers! It's me, your favorite host, Santa Kent. Just reminding you that we have a public Discord linked in the description. Enjoy the episode, friends!
Hello, and welcome to another episode of 2b2tea with Hardboiled Megs, Lukent, and God Roster. Today, we are hosting two of the coolest people on the server for our extra special Christmas episode. Woo! These two players are leaders of some of the coolest and biggest community events, members of the Spawn Masons, and have had some of the most interesting experiences on the server that I know of. I am very, very happy to welcome my friends DarkXL6 and BoomerangVillage. Woo!
Thank you
Yay.
for having us.
Thank you. How you going?
Good. How are you guys? Are you nervous?
Good. It's kind of cold out here, though, man.
Yeah, we are in the
I was feeling pretty nervous.
You feel nervous?
I was feeling nervous, but now that we've started, I'm feeling okay. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Right. You guys have been playing a lot longer than most people have, especially when it comes to present players. And I think, Boomerang, you got your start first. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your first few weeks on the server?
Yeah, thanks. It's funny you mention that we've been playing longer than most, because for most of my time on 2b2tea, I just remember being called a new friend over and over. I started back in, I think it was June of 2017, so it was a year after the Russia invasion had started, and so we were all new friends, right? Because at the time there were still players from before the Russia war, and there still are today, but back then there were a lot more of them. So yeah, I got my start back in 2017, and over time I've just seen a lot of friends come and go, and a lot of new friends show up, and now here we are, all these years later.
There's never really like a good cutoff for when a new friend is. It seemingly just changes from person to person.
Yeah, my take on it is everyone's a new friend always, and if you start calling yourself an old friend, you're even more of a new friend than everyone else.
Yeah, I agree.
True, absolutely. And Dark, same question for you. First few weeks on the server, when was that, and what was it like?
Well, so I joined in January of 2019, and I initially heard about the server through, not like most people, Rusher, Fit, all the videos there. I found Fit to be a little bit more interesting than Rusher. So,
Wow.
but I was amazed at Spawn first time I joined. It was crazy, but like anybody else, I would go out probably 200k. I remember getting killed by, I don't know, skeleton or something like that, and then luckily being able to write down my chords after I died, having the chords on so that I could go back and get the stuff that I had scavenged for the first time. But
Nice.
it was really just about the first few weeks was getting to know the server, and getting trapped, of course, at spawn, not knowing really much. Given a few apples and stuff like that, but mainly getting killed, trapped in portal. I remember that quite a few times.
Sure.
Rite of passage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody.
Sorry,
I think
what is
everybody
Spawn
has a.
like? Oh, God, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, the mic delay is making it hard. I think everybody has a story about like escaping spawn, getting themselves set up, and then somehow dying, ending up back at spawn and realizing that they hadn't set a bed. It's like the first hard lesson you have to learn on 2B. I know I definitely had that happen to me. And then I did set a bed, went back to spawn to try to fight the guy that had killed me, and I found him. He killed me again, and then he traced me back to my bed, ended up finding my bed again, breaking it, and then sent me back to spawn once again.
Oh, wow.
Those first few weeks on the server, you have to learn the hard lessons for sure.
That is nefarious, man. Your first rival.
Tracked you down.
Oh yeah. But eventually, you guys, how did you guys meet up?
Yeah, that's a little further down the story.
Yeah.
So I started in 2017 and I didn't know anybody. I had seen a Fit video of him playing hardcore survival Minecraft, and I watched that. But I wasn't a Minecraft player. I hadn't really played much Minecraft. So when his series ended, I wanted to watch more fit videos because I was kind of into learning about Minecraft. And the only other videos he had were the 2b2tea videos, and he was escaping spawn, or I think he was trying to go to the world border or something. It looked kind of interesting, but I really just wanted to try Minecraft. So I got a Minecraft account and joined 2b2tea, and I hadn't played Minecraft since the super early days of classic, alpha development. So everything was completely different. And the first several months that I was on 2b2tea, I kind of just played single player with chat. Like Dark was saying, I went out 200,000 blocks and tried to establish myself. And I didn't really make very many friends for a long time. I started talking to people in chat, but we weren't really friends. I didn't know what Discord was. I didn't have hacks. Like, I was very much a new player. And that's sort of what spawned the idea for the party committee to begin with. The party committee is a group that we have that builds party bases all around the server. And so early on in my time on 2b2tea, I thought it would be cool to make an event that would bring people together, because I knew that there were other players out there that didn't know anybody. And so, yeah, that party committee and starting that up is sort of how I ended up meeting Dark and several of the other players here on the server. And other than really my one other friend, Brython, I didn't know anybody outside of the party committee until I did that. So that's how we met, and that's how I've met most of the friends that I have here on 2b.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, those early days when you're out in the middle of nowhere, survival with chat sounds like the perfect way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mine was a little different though from Boomerang's. So when I joined, I went out, I started a base, I started Xtopia, and eventually invited people out. One of those people were Family Pumpkin 6. And eventually that base ended up getting griefed in February 2020. So I figured I would use that time to, just look around the server, see what's going on. I visited a lot of ruins. I went out to the world border. And eventually Mr. Pint, he's also another one of the members that are part of the party committee. He invited Family Pumpkin to build at Halloween 2020. Family Pumpkin suggested that I would go there and help build as well. And then from there, I ended up helping build Christmas 2020, and that's where I met Boomerang. So it was a little different travel to get to the point of us meeting up, but in the end it worked out really well.
That's great. Family Pumpkin for Christmas or for Halloween, you must have had family Christmas tree for Christmas, right?
Right.
Now that was 2020, but before that, you said you started in 2019 or so. Both you guys were around at this point in time. It was like 5, 6, 7 years ago. The server was a much different place back then, I can only assume. What do you think are some of the biggest differences, involving like maybe dupes and exploits, early server type stuff?
Well, I agree. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that we haven't really had a public dupe in forever. When I first joined, that's when the chunk dupe was going on. And then from there, you just had all kinds of different donkey dupes. And that's how you built your wealth. You also, one thing that I miss is your unbreaking tools, your unbreaking armor. I would use a pick. I went to the world border and I used the same pick, and I didn't run out. It didn't break or anything like that. But it's things like that. We used to use pig spawners.
Well,
I remember taking a shulker of those with me, and you don't have to worry about food. You would just stop on the side of the highway. All you needed was 1 or 2 pieces of grass and a light source, and and then a pig would spawn. You'd kill the pigs to get more food, and then you'd carry on.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's a lot of small things like that that you don't remember that, and then going through, because when I first started, we didn't have elytra. So actually this was a plus, going later on in time, that we actually, they brought elytras back to where we could use them, but there for a while we didn't actually have elytra. We had to travel with, uh, not even, I don't remember,
We used to ride the
horses
pigs.
or, yeah, but
Ride the pigs uphill both ways, right?
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah. It
pigs
was like the
fly.
Wild West back in the day.
Did you ever go
It's
on the
weird
nether
watching
roof?
this stuff.
No,
No.
nether roof has always been blocked. So when I
Yeah.
started in 2017, the anti-cheat was very different than it is now. The nether roof was definitely blocked, but it wasn't blocked well. So nowadays when you go up to the nether roof, I think you get teleported down. Back then when you went to the nether roof, you would get glitched inside of blocks and then suffocate to death. And so on the Reddit, there were always posts like, I logged off glitching inside of the blocks. Can somebody help me? And there was never a way to help that person. But other than that, there wasn't much of an anti-cheat back then. But also, I didn't have a hacked client, right? Most people start, they don't have a hacked client. So the early days, for me at least, it was running around playing in survival, but then watching a bunch of players who had been there just a little bit longer than me that seemed to be gods. They had these hacks, they had stacked armor and unlimited crystals and totems and all kinds of stuff. So after playing on the server for like a week, I decided, yeah, I definitely need some of that stuff. So I bought my first ever kit. Now back then, you could just buy a single box and it would set you up for life because it would have stacked totems and stacked tools and stacked armor, and everything was named after Kino Rana. So I got myself a stacked kit of Kino's stuff, and I was like the richest person on the server, in my opinion. And I was able to do everything I wanted to do. Like Dark said, it came with some pig spawners, and there weren't any kind of complicated anti-cheats that would prevent you from opening the box and just pulling out the pig spawners. So we dropped those things everywhere. And if you needed to get somewhere quickly, you would just spawn some pigs, throw on a saddle, and ride off into the distance at entity speed 1000. And it was beautiful. There was no anti-cheat, and it's like you could do anything. But since you could do anything, it meant that the other players around you were a lot more dangerous. I feel like back then, there wasn't as much camaraderie. You would come across somebody and they would have 1,000 different hacks that you've never heard of to just kill you instantly. And it was a lot more unpredictable than it is now. And maybe it's more predictable now just because I understand how hacking in Minecraft works.
Yeah, it's tricky to get into when you're a new player. It's like, what you know about Minecraft means absolutely nothing on the 2B server. It's like a completely different game.
Absolutely.
And you guys
culture.
Sorry, go ahead.
The culture was also way different back then. Nowadays it's common to find groups or teams of people, or even just a community of people that know each other. Generally, back then that was a lot more rare. There weren't really public events that you could go to. There weren't really any public get-togethers or groups. If you wanted to get to know people, you had to just message them in 2B chat. I don't even know that very many people were using Discord back in like the 2017, 2018 times. And then we all started getting Discord during that time, and the community started growing. That was a big change that I've seen in my time on 2B, is just the community has come together a lot more, and it's a lot less every man for themselves than it used to be.
It's those communities outside of the 2B chat where you really get to know people better. 2B chat, what you see somebody type in 2B chat is usually not indicative of the kind of person that they are. It's like it's a completely different thing. So getting to know people on Discord, you see people that are terrible in chat, and you speak to them, and they'll just be the most pleasant person that you've run into. It's interesting.
True.
And you guys have been at and have built at and are responsible for some of the most notable bases on the server. And I'm fairly new, so I don't know a ton about the history of the server or anything, but just hearing the names, I was immediately like, I know basically all of those bases. So I'm gonna ask you first, Dark. Of all of the bases, and I'm talking like Five Isles, Extopia, Hoping. What was the base that I'm gonna put you on the spot? What was the base that you liked the most? Your favorite base that you were either a main part of building or that you built yourself?
Let's see. I think I have two. I think the most unique one is Wasser Hollow Sway, which is Watery Hell 2. Let's see, it was back, I would say 2020, right after Extopia got griefed. Me and Family Pumpkin didn't really have anything to do. He ended up getting cores from Courier 6, of course, because he has cores to everything. But it was a single block of, or single source of water in the nether. And I'm trying to remember. I didn't really look. I wanted to say it was like maybe 10, 12K from spawn, nether. But basically we took that single source and we zigzagged it all over the place to make that water source go all over the place in the nether, and then actually built, like I built a sugarcane farm in there, and other people, they built other farms growing trees or grass or maybe crops that you normally can't grow in the nether. But it's things like that. We were hoping that we could get that water to last till these updates where we could expand it further with the kelp, but it ended up getting griefed, and somebody actually either took the water source or just placed a block on it. But I thought that was really cool. Something that probably will never happen again on the server. To be part of that is pretty awesome.
That's amazing.
How did it get placed there? Was it like waterlogging a fence post, or?
I guess there was an exploit a long time ago where you could place an ice block and break it, and it was very short-lived. I think it was just in some type of short release or something like that. I forget exactly what happened, but this guy, whoever did it, went through and placed quite a few sources in the nether. And so I was at Wasri Hollow's Way.
Little interruption from Firecat. This base is pronounced Wässrige Hölle,
which is, Zwei is 2 in German, so water hell 2. There was an original one that got griefed as well. Further out, these were closer, but so far nobody else has found any other water source that exists or hasn't said anything about it to anybody. But it was just a cool thing to be part of. And then I would say my biggest building one, I would say, would be by far Five Isles. I wish that would have lasted a lot longer than it did. I mean, just
what an unbelievable build that is. That's one of the very few places that I spent any kind of time at in the archive. Unbelievable. It's probably my favorite build in like the history of the server.
Well, it sucks is you have these ideas that you want to utilize, that you want to use in your build, and how your build is going to go, and then to add it on to the fact that you're building, with one of the best builders, I would say, ever. But and then you have Joey's there, and you have Gigo. Gigo's a really, really good builder as well, and a couple others. But the way I based with Joey in Hopen, and when Hopen got griefed, he invited us to Block Game Jerusalem, and that in itself was pretty big because Block Game Mecca is well known. But I got to build there. I built a something I called New Jerusalem, but that was a lot of fun. And from there, once that got grief, then Turban was like, "Hey, you want to come out and build? We have a new base that's starting up," and so it just started from there. But just the roster there, it's crazy.
Say roster.
God roster, right?
Heyo. All right, well, I'm gonna put you on the spot too then, Boomerang. Your favorite base that you had a big part of building or that you built yourself? Oh, we just lost Dark.
Dark,
Oh.
no.
That's okay. I'll come back. Maybe it's
Gosh,
just
my
'cause
favorite
I'm
base.
spitting.
Gosh,
Yeah,
my favorite base. That's a hard question. That's like asking what your favorite year of life was.
Right.
There's highs and lows to all of them, right? I guess I also have two answers. I'll follow Dark's lead here. My favorite base has to be the first base that I ever made. The first real base that I ever made. It was called Event Horizon. I made it with a guy named Brython. He started earlier than me. I think he was actually part of the initial Russia invasion, but he was at a similar place trajectory-wise to me when I first started. We were both single players trying to grind for gear. We bought kits, but we were both pretty poor at the time. So we decided to meet up and base together, and go to the end together was actually what we did first. So we got together and we went on an end raid to try to find our first shulker boxes, because the only way you could get shulker boxes was to find them or to buy them from somebody. So we went out to try to find some, and then we ended up going out to make a base. On the way out to get to the base, we were walking in the nether. We didn't have hacks yet, and so we were just walking for days and days, and every day we would stop along the nether trail, the plus highway, and we would build ourselves a nether portal and go out and build a little outpost. And I kind of practiced my building. Like I said, I was very new at Minecraft at the time, so I practiced my building at these outposts. And then when we finally got to the place we decided we wanted to build a base, we started building the base. And we built for like 3 or 4 days, just like houses, and I built an ice rink, and he built this really cool boat arena up in the sky. And we were having a lot of fun, and then he realized, like, hey, if we have our base here, there's another trail leading straight to it, and people are going to find us. So we decided to rename this base Eternity's End and turn it into a decoy base, so that anybody that's following our trail in the nether would think they've reached the end of the trail. We called it Eternity's End, like the end of the eternity-long trip.
Oh,
And then we went a little further into the nether to build Event Horizon. So this decoy base, Eternity's End, was really fun, but then we started building Event Horizon. And Event Horizon was the base that I really got established on the server. That's where we did our first several dupes. We did the donkey dupe, the chunk dupe, maybe another dupe there. We built out our materials. I built several big builds, a big mansion, a huge storage system, a whole bunch of stuff. And just me and Brython had a ton of fun there. We invited people to come out and visit our base. Nobody ever ended up moving in, but we had quite a few visitors, and just so many great memories. When I started the party committee, that was the base that was my home. That was my home base all throughout the first several years of party committee parties. So when I say my favorite, that one definitely has a sweet spot in my heart. My other favorite base, though, is one that was a very short-lived project that didn't get big, but it was really, really interesting. And that was Too Close. It was a project by the Society. Sun Easter Zombie started a group called the Society. He was really into the social dynamics of 2b2tea and experimenting or observing how players interact on the server. And he decided as a social experiment to build a base called Too Close inside of a lava cast at spawn. So we bombed out the inside of a lava cast and started building our base there. We didn't put any storage at the base, but other than that, we built everything that a base would have. We had bedrooms, we had builds, we had games, all kinds of things in this lava cast within the spawn region. So people would sometimes spawn right outside of our base. But the great thing about a lava cast is it has so many air pockets between the cobblestone that you can't free cam into it and see what's inside. And as long as we avoided using blocks that show up on people's ESP, most people aren't going to X-ray around at spawn. So that one lasted about 2 months of solid building within the spawn region. And that has to be my favorite project I've ever been part of. Really a cool one. And for years, I've been trying to convince people to do a Too Close too, because I think it's worth trying it again.
Too Close, I love it. And you said I caught you said a few years. How long did Event Horizon last?
Event Horizon lasted from probably the end of 2017 to maybe 2020.
Oh wow, that's a long time for a base like that.
It was several million blocks out, so it wasn't the most accessible base, and there were only 2 members, so it wasn't going to get leaked.
Did Eternity's End ever get griefed?
Yeah, Eternity's End, since our signs were there, like I had signed several signs there, it got discovered a lot. And we got a ton of DMs from people on Discord saying like, oh, I found your base. I'm not going to grief it though, don't worry. And then they'd send me pictures and I'm like, oh, that's fine. You can grief it if you want. That's just a decoy base. Of course, I didn't tell them it's a decoy base. I let them believe they had found my main base.
Oh no, you got me.
Please don't touch my base. That's funny.
You can build there if you want.
Yeah.
I'll be back eventually.
And I know that you guys, one of the big parts of your 2B history involves the party committee, and I know that Meg's got a whole bunch of burning questions for you. And once Meg decides to log back in.
Oh man, the server's been killing me lately. Let me in.
That's okay, Meg. I'm taking over for you.
Okay.
Meg, you're looking very blue today.
Oh. Is it just my blue logout square? I don't have logouts on.
No, it's Dark with his blue tie. He's taking your seat. I think he's going to lead the interview now.
Okay. Dark, please ask yourself questions about the party committee. Okay, I'm back. We'll cut all that out. We'll cut all that out. But okay.
How did I get over there?
So for party committee, I just recently got involved, but I don't know if it's if the people know like how it started. And you did talk a little bit about it earlier about wanting to meet new people and get people together to do events and stuff like that. So I'm just curious, like the origin story, like how it started, who got involved early, and the progress to where it is now.
The start of Party Committee is actually a pretty exciting story. I didn't have any friends except for Brython, and even Brython and I, we both have had this pattern over the years where one of us will just disappear for like 6 months at a time, and you never know if we're going to come back. We always do come back. But at the time of Party Committee, Brython had been taking sort of a leave. I think he had been gone for a few weeks, and I wasn't sure if he was going to come back. And I just knew I had this idea in my head. I wanted to start some kind of a group that would hold community events that were open to everyone. Of course, there's the Reddit channel for 2b2tea, and on the subreddit, there's always posts about people sharing their base or asking if somebody wants to come and join their base or join their team. And at the time in 2018, that was really common. People were just looking for somebody to base with or be friends with. And of course, all of those posts got roasted. Like you would post, hey, does anybody want to team with me? And all the comments would just say, like, you're such a noob, but you don't know what you're doing. You're going to get blown up. Like nobody wants to be on your team.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's something that's never changed.
Yeah, that hasn't changed at all. So that's what the subreddit looked like. That's what the community looked like. Nobody was inviting. Nobody was wanting to work together. It was just strictly single player everywhere. And so I wanted to host a community event. And the first one that I did was just at spawn 0-0 in the nether. I decorated the nether and I tried to see if I could just keep it peaceful for like an hour. And it ended up going on for like a few hours where people found out there was a little get together going on in the Nether, and they showed up to like exchange written books and exchange keepsakes and just different things that they had in their e-chest. We would kind of just share. We played some music on a jukebox. And then, of course, somebody came and griefed it and the party was over. But I realized from that kind of experiment that I did that there was an appetite for community on the server. So when Halloween was coming around in 2018, I went and I found a spot about 10,000 blocks from spawn, and I started building a mansion. And I thought, well, I'll build this haunted mansion, and then I'll invite people to come and enjoy my party and see if I can make some friends that way. And as I was building this mansion, I just got all these ideas in my head about what else would be fun to do at this party. Like, I'd want to have spleef, and it would be fun to have PvP. And I thought of all these different things and realized that it would be way cooler if I could make this event not just my event, but make it a larger community event. So I started DMing people that showed up in 2b2tea chat. Just whoever was talking a lot in chat and seemed active and seemed respectable, I DM'd them and asked if they wanted to be involved. I DM'd Jack the Ripper, Courier6, Mr. Pint, a whole bunch of different people. Jack turned me down, but Mr. Pint, Courier6, a few other people were like, yeah, I'm in. And so they came and joined in. Bottlecap Brony, Brythen joined in. We had this small little group of builders, and we started making our party, putting it all together for the very first Halloween party in 2018. And as it all started getting put together, we realized that we really had something. Like, this was going to be a fun event, and people were probably going to really enjoy it because they would get to blow it up. It would be low stakes fun. Nobody would have to feel like they have to protect anything or trust anyone, but everybody could be included. And so it was going really well. And then one day I found out that Courier6 had invited Jared 2013 to come and help build the base. And
Oh boy.
we all thought it was over. We all thought, okay, we're cooked. Pint invited the worst person ever to come and destroy our base before the party even happens. So I was ready to like leak cords right away and get the party started early if he started griefing. Turns out that didn't happen. Jared showed up and actually built at the very first party base. So our very first party base had a Jared 2013 build, which was just mind-blowing. Really cool. I've never seen him build anything else, but I saw him build that. That was awesome. And the first party went over really, really well. I posted about it on Reddit. My very first Reddit post said something like, "Are you a loser with nothing to do? Come have fun with us on Halloween." And of course, my Reddit post also got roasted in the comments. Everybody was like, this is going to be a fail. People are going to blow it up. You don't know what this server is all about. And they were wrong. It was a really big success. We had about 45 minutes of peaceful fun. We played spleef. We did some PvP. Nobody was getting hurt. I think my cat got killed at the party, but that's the only thing that happened until about 45 minutes in, when the fun was starting to die down and the griefing started, and it felt like a perfectly timed end to the party. And that's how the party committee got started. We did that first party and we realized we have to do more of these because it was so much fun.
Party foul on the cat getting killed. Wow.
Yeah. Animal cruelty on the world's oldest anarchy server. That's crazy that the person that you expected to grief it actually like put the time in and probably recognized that it was a good time as well and showed up for his friend. That's cool.
Well, that's the beauty of the party committee. It's not somebody's project that other people have to feel jealous of or left out of, and so they have to feel animosity. Instead, it's a community that anybody can join. So even if you're a griefer who would normally never be invited to a base, you're invited. You can come to the party, or you can even come to build at it if you get cords early, and you can be involved and invited, and we're not going to judge you just because of what you've done in the past. And I think that's the beauty of 2b2tea, is that everybody can have fun in their own way, but we can also still be a community.
I think it's interesting too, the Redditors saying that it's going to be a failure and you don't really know what the server's about. But the server's about whatever you make it. And if you want it to be a fun community thing where you're just a nice person, you get to do that too. And I think that a lot of people just don't expect people to be nice and to just be wanting to have genuine fun. And that's what I like about it. Like, as someone who hosts events now, it's like people are excited. And even party committee now, it's like people are like looking forward to getting cords and coming to see what's up. and enjoying themselves before the griefing starts.
I don't think people realize that we go in expecting this to be blown up,
Yeah.
whereas they're like, oh, you need to hide it so it can last longer. That's not what we're doing this for.
No.
So I think that's a lot of the Redditors' takes on that.
For sure. I think they expect that we don't know what the server is going to do with this party when really we've built the party for what the server is going to do to it. We expected that. I think, Meg, to your point about the Redditors and how they thought it was going to go, you have to understand the branding of 2b2tea has changed. It used to be called the worst server in Minecraft. It was also known as the oldest anarchy server in Minecraft, but it was mainly called the worst server. And when people joined 2b2tea, it was expected that you are going to exhibit your most toxic behavior ever on this server. Whatever you're saying in chat is allowed to be as toxic as you want it to be. Nobody's going to judge you if you're spamming curse words or racial slurs. That's how it used to be here. And so when people saw that we were creating a community event and we expected people to come and have fun, they were like, no, you're wrong. That's not what people do here. People don't have fun. They spread racial slurs and act toxic. So you're an idiot for thinking that it could ever be fun like that. And that's what I think that's the biggest impact that party committee has had in changing the server culture is we showed a lot of people that there's more accountability here than you might recognize at first. There's more of a reputation that you can build. There's more of a community or a connection that you can create with other people than you maybe realized when you first joined.
Absolutely. I think that the server culture changing in the more positive direction is nice. And when I joined, there was a lot of positivity and it was a lot less toxic than I expected it to be. Something I'm kind of curious about is what do you think was, I guess for both of you, the best party committee event that you've had and the most challenging party committee event that you've had?
Mark, I'll let you start with that one.
Okay. So I would say the most challenging. So Boom was on a hiatus, I would say, if I wanted to call it that. But
Is that
I
what
was
we call it when Boom doesn't show up?
Exactly. No, we call it something else. We just don't say that out loud.
You don't tell me.
So 2021 Halloween, I offered to lead that event, and at the time, House was testing 1.17 on on just another server, and it was one of those where you could join either 2B or that one, either one. They were both up, so I was like, hey, new blocks, let's go on the test server and let's try and do the Halloween party on there, not thinking that, hey, you know what, we don't have any duped items. So the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that we had to literally go out and mine and collect every item that we wanted to build with.
You get to play vanilla.
Yeah. And
Minecraft on a
then
Minecraft server.
the second challenge was the fact that not a lot of people really wanted to join the test server because it wasn't actually 2B. And we literally, until the last day of the party for Halloween, we literally only had 5 builders building.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, but the last day I had lodged there, and so some of the other Mason guys showed up, and Entropy, I know Ranch, a couple other people, they started building, adding in builds as well there. You know, we already had stuff with Wrath House and Chip Off and Clav, and I think it was 7K was there as well, but other people joined in and helped out and actually made the base a lot bigger, or the party committee area.
Yeah.
But And what was nice, we actually had visitors along the way that wanted to grief, but because it was not 2B, they didn't actually have TNT or crystals or anything like
Oh,
that. So
nice.
literally, they would just go and like mine some stuff, and we went back in and fixed it really quick. But that lasted a long time because when after the party started, nobody had those items either to really grief it very much. So
That's
most of
perfect.
it stood. But the funny story behind it is about 5 days before we were supposed to have the party, House posted on Reddit that he was getting ready to take that server down.
Oh,
And I actually
no.
had to send a message to him asking him if he could keep it up for another week so that we could host our party. And he graciously did, and shut it down, I'd say 2 days after that. But it all worked out in the end. It was a great time, but I would say that one was very challenging. Good, Boom.
Yeah, for me, I'd say the most fun party and the most challenging party were the same one, and that would be, I think it was 2023 Halloween, which is when we had built this base and we had worked on it for about a month until 2 days before the party when griefers showed up. We were in the middle of putting our final touches on the build before the party in 2 days, and griefers showed up at like 7 in the afternoon and started blowing stuff up. And we only had 24, 48 hours maybe to get everything set up for the party. And we jumped into the Discord, and at first it seemed like we should just cancel the party. We didn't have a base. It had all gotten destroyed, and the people that destroyed it had incited us. And so we were also kind of feeling dejected, just emotionally hurt. And at first we were like, well, we should just not do it at all. But of course, that's not our spirit. That's not the right spirit to have.
That's right.
So we all agreed, we have the time, we have the energy. We're going to try to put something together in the next 48 hours for this party to happen. And as I was going through my coordinates list to see what other bases on 2b2tea do I have that we could maybe reuse to give us sort of a foundation for this. I knew that if we started from scratch, we wouldn't be able to make a huge base by the time the party needed to happen. So I thought, well, maybe if we can start with something that I've already got, an old Spawn Mason Lodge or an old project that I worked on, maybe we could add to that and create the base. And I also thought that would be a good way to stick it to the griefers, right? If we make the party go on anyway, it would really show those griefers that they didn't get in our way at all. So as I'm looking through my old builds, I realized I did have like 5 or 6 builds that were intact at, near spawn that would be great for the party, but they weren't perfect for it. And we got contacted by another group who had a base that they had already built, SBA. They had a base that they had already built that was a Halloween base. And they said, hey, why don't you just team up with us and use our build from our Halloween base, and you guys can add to it over the next 24 hours and then host your party there.
Yes.
So that's what we ended up doing. And it was a perfect arrangement because what they had built was beautiful and like a really big space in a mesa biome, really cool base. So we just added our own stuff to it over the next 48 hours in order to host our party. But since I had all these other projects, all these other builds around spawn that I knew would be appropriate for hosting a party, but they were just a little bit small, I decided, in order to buy us some extra time to build out that SBA base, I decided to host this trick-or-treating event. And I posted on the Discord, hey, good news, the party is starting right now. We're going to do 24 hours of trick-or-treating. So I released the locations of 8 different bases over 24 hours. And every 2 or 3 hours, we had a different party lined up at each of the different 8 bases. And different people were able to come from different time zones, or people that didn't have prio could wait through queue and make it to one of the events. And then at the end of the trick-or-treating, we had the big final party at the SBA base. I can't imagine the look on the griefers' face after inciting us and thinking they had brought down the party. I can't imagine the look on their face when they realized that we did 8 different parties
Yep.
48 hours after they
Mhm.
griefed our party location. And none of that
That's
had been
awesome.
planned prior to the grief. None of it had been planned.
And that base was griefed twice, not once, but twice. We rebuilt it 2 times, and both times got griefed.
Yep. I remember it well. That Halloween was so much fun. Going to all those like different spots and hanging out with the same people
Mhm.
and people you don't know show up, and suddenly you're making an ice highway with like 8 other people in Frostwalker boots, and Entropy got sent to Bedrock like at every single spot we went to. Somebody would dig him down and they would have staring contests. Like it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I love that we like picked ourselves up and moved through it. And the SBA base was great. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
we thank you very much, SBA, for allowing us to join in on their event. We
we
appreciate
had
it so much.
so many people there too.
Yeah.
We made a lot more friends that year. I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I think I made more friends that year because of the grief and having to pivot and do all the trick-or-treating. I think I made more friends during that party than I made in any other party on 2b2t.
It was
Mhm.
a great time.
That's so cool.
I want to talk about more Halloween and Christmas bases.
Well-
I love the stories that come out of it.
Let me so I didn't hit on my favorite
Yeah.
time, and for me by far it was the 10th anniversary of 2b2t. We did a Christmas build on that, and it
Aw.
was basically we took all kinds of old builds from across the server over the years, and we gave them a Christmas twist. So, like we redid Wrath Outpost, but we added in Christmas lights on it, and we put a Christmas tree in the middle of it. Let's see. Boomerang did the drain, but he did everything in ice and snow.
Oh.
So for me, I mean, just so many people and so many but that was, I would say, our biggest party committee build ever. And I would say back then, Boomerang, wasn't it like maybe 200 people were on the server at any given time?
Yeah, the max player cap back then was just over 200 players, and at the party event we had, I think, close to 100, if my
It was
memory serves me.
145 over a
Oh my
3-hour
gosh.
period. 145 unique players in the 3 hours that this party
Wow.
went on.
And with such cool
Wow.
builds too.
Yeah, it was
That's
great.
so amazing.
There was so many people actually that found that that base early, because it was such a big deal that we actually started it like, I want to say, the middle of November. I mean, normally we
Yeah.
don't even start building things now for like a week and a half, 2 weeks before, because we don't want it to get found, right? And this one, we literally, it was a month and a half, easy. And
Where was it? How far from spawn?
gosh, I don't remember. It wasn't far. I want to say it was like 20-30K
Yeah,
in the overworld.
We've never gone much further than about 60K.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, and it had a lot of good memories. Fit actually came and took a tour of it, and
Blessed you with his presence.
yep, blessed us with a lot of things. You see this over here, Meg?
Oh. What is that? You guys brought Bedrock?
Some real
Brython
bedrock right
gave
there.
it to us. Brython gave it to us to place there. So
So
he
it
couldn't
still
make it
exists?
today,
Yeah.
but he's here in spirit.
Do you know where he is right now?
We do.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He's doing the 2019 Christmas party.
Yep.
He's sunning on the beach somewhere, I think.
So since the party committee started in 2018, I kind of want to get like some good stories over the years. of what you guys remember. So what do you remember about that first year besides, I mean, you told us about the first ever event. Is there anything else
Yeah,
that
the second
happened?
event was a doozy. It was a
Ooh,
doozy.
do
Christmas
tell.
one, wasn't it?
Doozy.
Yeah, that was the Christmas one. So we had just finished up Halloween and I was riding high. I was like, man, this thing that I thought was going to maybe fail turned out super successfully. So I got started right away on Christmas and went out and found a big, large ocean. Specifically, I found one that would fit on 9 maps, 3x3 on the
Yeah.
maps. So that you wouldn't see any terrain underneath. Because at the time, there was a lot of terrain exploits going on. We were still in the old chunks. And so if you posted a map that showed the terrain under the water or the terrain, people would use that to exploit you. So I found a section of ocean where you could see the map and it was at least 4 blocks deep. So it was all blue ocean. And I built this big obsidian snowflake that had 8 different platforms around the outside and then a giant circular platform in the middle. And I covered the whole thing in snow. And I called up my friends and I said, hey, come and build. We've got this huge space. Everybody can have their own circle around the outside. I built a giant snow globe or a igloo in the middle with a maze, a hedge maze. Really cool build. I thought it was really cool. Really looked great on the maps. I think there are maybe even still maps floating around that have that Merry Christmas base from back then. And I was feeling so good about it leading up to the party. And on the day of the party, I called my dad into my room and I said, Dad, come here. I want to show you this thing I built. And I was giving him a tour. I always do that. I always give my parents a tour of the builds before the party before the party happens. So I'm showing my dad around and I hear TNT start going off.
No.
As I'm showing him the base. The party is set to start in about 30 minutes and I hear TNT going off. Now, it seemed unfathomable that anybody would have cords to this base because during the building process, there were only like 6 of us that knew where it was, except there were 2 people that had found the base previously. Nick Has Cancer and Jumbo Warrior had just stumbled across the base one day while we were building, and we didn't know who they were. Turns out they were spawn masons.
Too.
Turns out they were spawn masons on their way to a spawn mason lodge, but we didn't know that at the time. And so just as you do when somebody finds your base, when they stumbled across the base, we introduced ourselves. We told them, hey, we're building a party for Christmas. You guys can help build. That's what you do on 2B. You have to invite people to build. Otherwise, they're just definitely going to grief it. So we invited them to build, and both of them stayed and built a little bit. They decorated a gingerbread house, and they seemed chill. And we were like, oh, okay, good. It's not going to be a problem. They're not going to grief. And moved on. And then a few days after they had visited, our dye shulker, we had a shulker full of dye that we had been using to make concrete and stuff. Our dye shulker went missing. And I was a little suspicious about the dye shulker. I remember asking Brython, like, hey, did you take the dye shulker? Who took the dye shulker? Who takes a dye shulker? Come on, guys. But other than those 2 little, the visitors and the suspicious dye missing, I didn't think anybody would know where our base was. I didn't think there was anything to worry about. So when the TNT started going off while I was giving my dad a tour, I immediately panicked and kicked my dad out of the room. I was like, sorry, Dad, tour's over. I got to go deal with this. And I'm starting to run around, looking around, who is blowing up my base? And it turns out it's this account we've never seen before called Jewish Banker. And I dropped the most memeable quote in chat ever. I just say, who is Jewish Banker and why are they blowing up my Christmas party? And that quote has been re-thrown in my face for years and years since then. Here, I've got a map. Who's filming? Meg, you're filming. Here's a map that depicts this event. You see Jewish Banker there blowing the base up. You see the igloo, the island, me freaking out.
The dyes.
And yeah, the dyes for sure.
Yep.
So after the party, we just released cords right away and started the party 30 minutes early, which in the grand scheme of things isn't like the biggest deal in the world. It's not too bad of a problem. But since it was getting griefed actively when we released it, it didn't last too long. And Jewish Banker was not the name of the player. It was actually Ox, who was the developer of Future Client. And he was using some unreleased future hacks that were so far beyond what any of us could do. He was running faster than us. He was jumping higher than us. He was placing TNT faster than we could break it. So there was really nothing we could do to prevent the base getting blown up. So after the party kind of failed, I was feeling pretty dejected. It was only my second party. I feel like everything that the Redditors had warned me about just came true right in front of my face, and I was feeling pretty bad about it. And then Brython got a DM from Hermetic Lock. And we had never spoken to Hermetic Lock. We had seen him on YouTube. We had heard of the Spawn Masons, but we had never associated with the Spawn Masons. And you have to understand, at this time on the server, with as little community contact as there was, the Spawn Masons were the epitome of winning the game. They had this team of people that would get together and build stuff and not grief it. And that was like, everybody else on the server couldn't do that. You couldn't meet up with other people without one of the people you're meeting up with griefing the thing you're building. So to see the Spawn Masons that were able to work together and act like end game players, like everybody else on the server was not cool enough to interact with them back then. And that might still be the sentiment from a lot of people. That's just not true. The Spawn Masons are just regular players. But back then, we didn't know. We thought they were gods on the server. So when we found out that they knew who had griefed this base, our ears perked up. We were a little intrigued as to what happened. Hermetic Lock gave us some coordinates, and Brython and I went to these coordinates. You'll see on that map, there's a big snowman. When we showed up at the coordinates, we found this giant snowman build that dwarfed our party committee base. The snowman was twice as big as our party committee base, and we were awestruck by it. And it turns out that it was just their Saturday weekly lodge. And so I think they did it as a flex on us to make us, you know, to impress us, maybe. Or maybe that's just how they were building at the time. I will say not all of the Spawn Mason lodges are that big, but that one was an exceptionally large one. And so we showed up and we found their Spawn Mason lodge. But not only that, we also found our Dye Shulker. And when we found that Dye Shulker, all the pieces came together. We realized what had happened.
Oh, man.
They were on their way out to build this giant lodge, and they stumbled across our party committee base. And they built there. They were cordial. But Nick and Jumbo also have loose lips, and they let the other Spawn Masons know that they had found our base. And just telling the other Spawn Masons that they had found our base was enough to give the Spawn Masons an indication as to where the base was. And that's all Ox needed to go and grief our base. So Jumbo, or a Jewish banker, was Ox, and he was griefing our party base. So after that party, we thought the Spawn Masons are ops, like they hate us, they are griefers, and they're terrible. And we didn't like them at all. And I was really mad, and I just wanted somebody to yell at. So I DM'd Nick, and I was like, why did you leak the base? We let you build there. We thought you were cool.
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't leak it. Just jump into a voice call with me. So I jumped into a voice call with Nick, which ended up becoming a voice call with all the Spawn Masons. And over the course of the next 24 hours, I learned what had happened. I forgave the grief after realizing that it was just typical 2b2tea player activity. It wasn't anything to be upset by. You know, he was allowed to grief it. That's his play style. That's what he's allowed to do. And once I got over it, I realized the Spawn Masons were actually just a bunch of guys who like to play and have fun together. And I joined the Spawn Masons shortly thereafter. And I DM'd Brython and I said, hey, so I joined the Spawn Masons. And he was, of course, immediately upset because he also thought that they were out to get us. But it wasn't too long before he also joined, and we realized that the Spawn Masons weren't our enemies. They were just players on 2b2tea like everyone else. And ever since then, the Spawn Masons haven't griefed our Christmas base, but I've never let them forget that they did grief my very second Christmas base.
Forgive, but you don't forget.
That's right.
It does come up a couple times, which I find funny. I like the Dye Kit story because I feel like you told me that a few years ago, and ever since then, something Drew and I have done is at bases that we're like not super active at, we go to once in a while, we'll leave a Dye Shulker there, and that's how you know somebody's been through, because people take that stuff now, because it's like nice to have a Dye Shulker.
It's your canary in the coal mine for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't know how many different times that's the first thing. If we say, we think somebody's at the base, and Boomerang's like, check and see if the Dye Shulker's there or not.
It's like early proxy detection.
Literally the first thing he asks.
Is the Dye Shulker gone? It's a good way to play. I like it.
You know, I liked the I wasn't at the 2018 Christmas, but I loved the layout of that. The snowflake shape, and
I'd like
then
to do.
each of those that had a different build or different activity, and I think it was like either 8 or 12 areas, wasn't it? And
There
I
was
thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, there was 8 around
Well,
the outside and then one big one in the middle. I think we should
mhm.
do another planned build like that again for a future party. That was a really fun one.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All right. One good
So
memory I'm gonna give you. So I think it was, I want to say it was Christmas 2021. We were doing a ski lodge, and we had everything built. The people were invited. They came. We had a few people that wanted to grief right away, but we got them calmed down, and everybody was just running around. And if I remember, I thought that at that time, Elytra was disabled again for some type of exploit or something like that. So all we could do was run around. And me, I'm just, when you're hosting it and trying to figure everything out, just running around trying to get things done, I wasn't really paying attention. And somebody started going around and started crystalling things. And Todorok, he was like, "Dark, run! This guy's after you." And we're all in a VC somewhere, and he's like, "Get away! He's coming after you. He's gonna kill you." So I'm like running, and this griefer's chasing after me, and he keeps telling me left, right, do this. I'm like, "Why is he telling me which way to run?" Well, here he's firing arrows, and and he literally killed me from his arrows.
oh
Todorok
no.
did.
Oh man.
When trying to kill this griefer, instead he killed me, sent me to spawn, so I missed about half of the event trying to travel back, and I thought that was kind of funny. I remember also my first, well, I went to, so 2019 Halloween was Harry Potter. I went to that one. I got there late, so most of the griefing had begun, but I was ready for Christmas 2019, and that was it was a vacation island that Santa Claus had taken it easy. You know, it had he had his socks next to the fire, and it had
Aw.
like a volcano and a yacht. And so I remember they released the course, and there was a mad scramble to get there. And I'd only went through this. This was my first and only time, because when you're building there, you don't have the mad scramble, you know, to get there first, to travel down the highway. And I never realized how many people are actually traveling there the same way. And it's literally like 30, 40 people following each other, going up these steps, trying to get to where but what I didn't realize is that you have griefers following you as well, wanting to do that. And literally I was killed on the way, people following me, killing people on the way, and it took me a long time to get there because I was sent back to spawn only to, you know, try and get there again. And being in 2019, I didn't have a lot of stuff. So the stuff that you were killed with was probably your best gear at that time. So that was a hard lesson to learn, but it was it was a good thing to experience that at least once before I actually became a builder. I like that a lot.
What year did you become a builder?
Um Halloween 2020.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep, that was the first year I actually started building. Extopia was griefed. We started I started heading out to Hopen at that time, and we didn't have really a lot going on. And Family Pumpkin asked if I could come and help build. And you know what's crazy? Boomerang brought up the whole thing with Jared. And when you first join the server, you know that name pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
You hear about the stories. And he was actually in the builder chat from the get-go, from when I joined in Halloween 2020. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why are we having probably
Yeah.
the guy that's most known on the server to griefing? Why are we having him in the party committee chat? Well, as the saying goes, it's better to have him with your team than not with your team and looking out. I mean,
Yep.
looking for your build or looking for your team. So we were in there, we were doing our builds, and one of our players got ratted. So there was this client called Phobos, and one they it was like it was hacked or something, and they put a token log in there somehow, and one of the guys that were building with us was using that or started using it, and so they got access to all the Discord chat, the
Oh,
builder
no.
chat,
Oh
and
no.
yeah, it ended up that Whale was we found out Whale was coming out and he was going to grief it. And it was, I would say it was like 5 days before the before we were set to release chords. But Jared was like, hey, I will talk to him. I'll mitigate this. So he talked to Whale. Whale just wanted to be part of the builder chat and to be part of the group itself. He never griefed it, and everything went as could be or as best could be.
Yeah.
But Jared stepped in and just talked with them, and we didn't have to worry about rebuilding somewhere else, and it
Yeah,
ended up going smoothly.
a lot of people say that Jared won't grief stuff he's invited to. I don't know how true that is, but it seems like it was in this case, at least.
Yeah, I mean the same thing. I was with Block Game Jerusalem, and somehow Jared was connected to that. I'm not really sure. Joey Coconut, he explained the story. I don't really recall, but he was coming out there. He walked around the base, was shown around all the builds and stuff like that. He never griefed it, but it was around the time when I guess maybe his chats were leaked or something like that. Something to do with the chords. We ended up self-griefing BGJ, but even then he was invited and didn't grief it or anything. So it's a good thing.
Definitely. What about some of the other early years? Like any good stories from 2019, 2020 that we haven't talked about?
So in 2019, I had just come off of the first year. This was our second year now, and I wanted to turn up the volume a little bit, make our parties a little bit more intense or a little more cool, because at this point we only had like 6 or 7 builders and the parties were pretty tame. And so for Halloween, I got started really early. I think I started in August or September, and I decided to build the entirety of Hogwarts. I think this was a mistake. I think it was a mistake, not because the Hogwarts wasn't cool. It was really cool. But when other builders were coming to try to add their own builds, I think a lot of them felt limited because they didn't want to take away from the aesthetic of Hogwarts. So we had some other builds from other builders, but for the most part, the party was centered around that Hogwarts build. It was by far the biggest part of it. And to build hype for this party, I decided to reach out to Fit to see if he would make a video about it, because I knew he had the outreach that I needed to get more people involved and to get more people to come out to the event. And so Fit did. He showed up to make a video of the party, and that's up on his YouTube channel. But while he was doing the tour of the base, one of the things that we had at the base was some bedrock, like you see here in the wall. We talked about this a little bit. And when Fit was touring the base, he saw the bedrock, and at first he was astonished that we had bedrock, and it took him just a brief moment to realize that it was just a map art. And so then the next year when he toured our Christmas base, we made sure to have some real bedrock there to show him as well. But that second year with the Hogwarts, that was definitely one of our most fun bases, and one of my most impressive builds that I've ever put together. It didn't have the same kind of excitement that we got with 2018, but it was still a really great party and kind of cemented the scale of the builds that we kept going with even to this day.
Yeah,
I
and
think
with
the Hogwarts is so cool.
with the bedrock with Fit. So when we showed him for Christmas, the 10th anniversary, when he toured the base, we took him, flew over to where the bedrock was, and I think Brython literally put that the map art over top of the actual real bedrock. And so Fit was like, "Oh yeah, you're just kidding," you know, and he clicked it and it would turn, you know. He's like, "Oh, you're just kidding." And then we broke the map art and showed him that it was really actually bedrock. It was kind of
That's awesome.
a fun, interesting psych.
I think that there's a clip of it, and if we can find it, we'll put it in. So I think that
Okay.
would be very funny.
What? Hold on. No. No, 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 no. There's no way any of these builders have bedrock. Nope. Ha. This makes no sense. Oh! Wow. They had me in the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
That second party in 2019, or the second year, is also when I got Housemaster to come out to the party for the first time. I sent him an email and said we would be having a party. And the only reply I got was, "I'll check it out." But I've taken that "I'll check it out" as permission to put Housemaster's name on every single party we ever have. I always say Housemaster's going to be there
Yeah.
because he said he'll check it out. So he's definitely coming to all of the parties now.
Did he come on the Housemaster account?
No, of course not. He said he'll check it out, so he definitely did.
He was there. In spirit, or as a spirit.
As a spirit, definitely.
Another one was it I think it was Halloween 2022. I don't know if you were there or not for that, Boomerang, but it was one that X-Ray and Yomo, they did a ghoul, and this ghoul was holding a red balloon, and inside that red balloon was a fetus. It was just the craziest thing I've ever seen. But we started building this, and I would say probably 2 days, and this is a recurring theme for some reason, but 2 days before we were scheduled to release chords, the place got found and griefed by BSB. And so
Lord.
I talked with Brython. I said, "Hey, let's release a message that says that because of what happened and not having enough time to rebuild, we're going to host the Halloween party on the archive, and you wouldn't believe the backlash and the mean comments that we got on that. And here's the thing, it was all just a ruse, okay? We weren't telling them that. We wanted them to think that, but it got the griefers off our back enough to where we didn't have to worry about people looking for the base again.
Yeah, that's
we were
smart.
able to rebuild this thing in like 2-3 days, and then Brython announced, "Hey, you know, we decided to change our mind. We rebuilt it, and here's the chords, by the way." So it was kind of interesting and fun to kind of get a little payback with the griefers.
Sneaky. I love that. I love trying to get one over. I guess the last thing I wanted to talk about is how party committee has changed since it first started and till now, like the modern party committee, and just how in the last couple years you guys have been supporting other community events like the Ames 420 event and the CBL Oktoberfest event. I just wanted to hear from you guys a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Dark.
oh, yeah, and then you can touch on a lot of stuff of the changes, but I think for me, probably the biggest change, some of the biggest changes, the fact that, man, we used to start these parties early when we started building them, and they used to be a lot closer to 0-0. We've noticed over the years that it's a lot harder to start them earlier because they get found earlier, and we've had to rebuild many times. So we've been starting them later and later, and just really putting in some serious grind for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. When I remember back in the beginning, we used to take a month and a half to actually build all this stuff. So to me, that's one big change. Also for me, lately, I've seen that we actually have a lot more builders, and it makes a lot of better and greater ideas, a lot grander builds, people teaming up, and I like that a lot. So this more recent stuff, I like it. It's going really well so far.
Yeah, I'd like to echo what you said there. We do have so many more builders now than we've ever had before. It feels like each party we add several new ones because we've developed now a system where trusted members are able to bring in trusted friends, and so the network grows bigger and bigger with each party, and that's been really successful for us. The biggest changes, though, that I've seen to the Discord have been more with the way that we operate on the Discord and within the group. Obviously, with most Discords or most groups, when you start them, you kind of have a vision for what's going to be in the future, and you set up the leadership of the group or the Discord accordingly so that it can grow with the group as it grows. And the Discord for the party committee isn't like that. I didn't really know what the party committee was going to be when I first started the Discord. I started the Discord so that I would have a place for people to be in voice chat during that very first party. But I didn't have any experience leading a Discord or leading a group, and I didn't really know what I wanted it to become. So over the years, I've had to learn how to be a group leader, but also how to delegate group leadership to other people. And the easiest way for me to do that was just to develop the chief blockhead role within our Discord, which is the admin role. And unlike most groups where we have democracy and voting and all that other stuff, we just have a few people at the top of our group that have the best interest of the group in mind, that generally understand the vision of what we're trying to do, and we just work together to make decisions that will help drive the group forward and get things done. And we don't have this really rigorous bureaucracy that you might see in a lot of groups where we're trying to make decisions and debating things and voting on things. We really just, I've delegated a lot of decision making to the other members of the group, to Dark, to Mr. Pint, to Cappy, to Brython, Bottle Cap Brony, Turban. I just have this really nice team of leaders that are able to take their own vision for the group and go and make it possible. And with that, one of the biggest changes that we've ever made happened just last year, or 2 years ago, after our trick-or-treating event. I introduced for the first time our community of builders, which is a program where any player on 2b2tea, you don't have to be friends with the group, you don't have to have built at our parties in the past. Any person on 2b2tea can come onto our Discord, can fill out a request to host their own party, and if the party seems like it would be fun and is within the spirit of what 2b2tea is and what the party committee is, then we go ahead and set that host up with their own channel, their own permissions, so that they can create roles and bring other members in. We give them a wish list so that they can get all the materials that they'll need to build, and we let them use our communication network so that they can reach out to all of our party guests and invite everybody to come to their party. And with that, we've had a few really successful events. We've had a couple of 420 events. We've had a couple of other smaller events. And one of our most successful trick-or-treat locations last year was a community builder event. And so with that, I see the future of the party committee more clearly now than I ever have in the past. And that is a future where anybody on 2b2tea is part of the party committee if they want to be. Anybody can come and host. And if you are respectable and you're trying hard and you're showing up to make the community better every day, then you have the autonomy to create whatever kind of event you can envision. And that's really how it's changed. It's gone from one person with a vision for a single event to a community of people that are able to turn their own ideas into action with this network that we've created.
And that's something I really like, is that that community focus, and it kind of speaks to, I feel like, your philosophy on 2B and the server. Do you want to elaborate more on how the culture's changed and it's becoming more community focused and getting people involved?
One of the first things somebody ever told me on 2b2tea when I was trying to make friends or trying to like establish myself is they said, "You're new, but you're here forever." And what they meant was, you're always going to be learning. You're never going to be an expert at this server. You're always new. You're always out of the loop of something. But also, you're never going to step away from 2b2tea. And obviously that's not true. Some people do step away. But for the most part, people that come and show up here for the first time end up sticking around and making friends. And maybe they'll take breaks from time to time, but they're still part of the community. There are people that know you here that will reach out to you on Discord if you stop showing up.
Yeah.
And that foundation, or that quote, "You're new here, but you're here forever," that quote is the foundation of my philosophy on 2b2tea. I'm here to make a life experience within this game. I'm here to play a game. I'm here to have fun. That's what we're all here to do. But more than that, I'm here to create memories and to make connections and to do things that I never thought would be possible in Minecraft, or to do things that I never thought would be possible with a group of friends. And all of that comes together to build this philosophy where I don't judge people for griefing because I know they're having fun. I don't judge people for building badly because I know they're having fun. I don't judge people for never getting onto the server and just joining Discord and talking in the Discord because I know they're interacting with 2B in the way that's fun for them. And when we're all just here to have fun, we can all be here forever. We can all create our lives here and have lasting memories and not take it too seriously, but then also do serious things like put together a whole community that brings in thousands of people.
Yeah. I totally
exactly,
agree. I like
100%.
that.
Well said.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I love that.
There we
Dark,
go.
is there anything you'd like to
Welcome
add before
back.
I throw it over to lukent?
No. I
Well
I
said.
think Boomerang touched on all that stuff very well.
Beautiful.
All right. I think you guys are going to really enjoy my segment because it tests your knowledge on your own group. Obviously, you had been told that we're doing some sort of trivia, but yeah, the questions are curated about the party committee. But first,
We were told it was parkour. So.
Oh, that's after. We've got 2 new members of our production team. I'm going to introduce themselves and then just tell us a little bit about yourself. So, Fuzzy. Woo!
Hello, I'm Fuzzy Biscuits. I am in charge of makeup and hair to make sure that everyone is looking their finest. It's my first day on the job, so hopefully I don't get fired. Happy to be here.
And Firecat.
Hello, I'm Firecat. I'm our new editor here, and I hate lukent, and I'm really happy to be here.
Oh wow. Ooh.
Very, very nice. Well, thank you guys so much for being a part of the team.
Well, I want to say, Firecat, you did. I mean, not Firecat. Fuzzy, you did a really good job on my makeup. Boomerang's hair could use a little help, but
Yeah, let's get a close up of that real quick.
Yeah, that was just a trial.
I
We'll
can see
get
my
better next time.
I can see my reflection.
maybe Firecat could edit some in. You know,
Oh.
some hair or something.
Give him a wig.
I'll give
Fine.
Mohawk, I like it.
All right. So, this is not my idea. I should preface that. I
Oh,
got it
gosh.
from my good friend.
Nothing good ever came
Spencer.
from
Yeah,
that.
here we go. Yeah.
No, hold on. I just don't want credit because it's not my idea. But if you come look over here, there are items in the chest because it's the season of giving.
Ooh.
And very nice mats you can use for the upcoming Christmas party base. But
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna give you guys 5 questions, and if you answer them all, you get the items. I'll break down the shulkers per question if we need it, but like I really don't think you guys are gonna need it.
Now you said as long as we answer them all, so it can be a correct or an incorrect answer as long as we answer them. Right?
Oh, whoa.
I mean that's what you said. You just said
Loophole.
if we answer
on,
them
no.
all.
Answer A.
I was not prepared for this kind of question. But if you miss one question, you lose it all. So it's again,
Okay.
it's like
All
who
or
wants to be a
nothing.
millionaire?
Oh,
Exactly.
nothing.
are we-
Can we phone a friend? Can I call Brython if I have a question that I
Yeah,
can't answer?
lifeline.
You got
And
you
are
got
we-
one. You're not
Are
gonna
we,
need it.
are we answering as a team,
Yes. Any
or
of
do
you
each
can
of
answer.
us give an answer?
I'll let you have
Nope.
the chair.
Both any of you can answer if you wanna collaborate. I don't really think you're gonna need it though, because I'm looking at these questions and you've answered them in your monologues before this.
Oh, okay.
Just a spoiler alert, but
Yeah, I mean that's in the past. We don't have very good memory.
hey,
There's not
you
a
and me
lot
both.
to talk about 2b2tea party committee, so we probably said everything there is to say.
Statistics though. If you know them, you know.
All right, let's
I
hear
got this off the wiki. So the first question
Ooh.
is, when was the first dedicated holiday party? It's so
2018, right?
it. Halloween 2018, yeah.
correct.
Good job.
Yeah, woo!
That was a tough one.
Oh, sorry. I was giving you a high
Nice. One
five.
for one.
I'm gonna sprinkle in some questions, just so I don't, not do any questions. But they're gonna be pretty different. So I guess the first non-trivia question is, so outside of 2B, you guys posted some great cooking. What's your guys' favorite recipe to make?
Wow. That's rough.
Hard
Boom,
hitting.
go ahead. I'll
Favorite
let you-
recipe to make? I think that my favorite. Recently, I made a beef Wellington, and I had never had it before, but it was really good. It was really fun to make. I think as far as my most fun recipe to make, it'd have to be beef Wellington. But the food that I like eating the most, I make a chicken pot pie that is a deconstructed chicken pot pie. So it's like a ball on the plate, and then you cut it open, and it spills out. That's probably my
Oh.
favorite food to eat. It tastes
Oh,
really
nice.
good, and it looks really impressive.
Sounds awesome.
That
sounds
sounds
great.
so
Yeah.
good. What the fuck?
I haven't
I
eaten in a while, so I probably shouldn't have started with that. Sorry, go ahead.
there is Hungarian heritage in my family, and so they're always making Hungarian themed food. But I would say my favorite to make is chicken paprikash soup.
Mm.
And so, normally with chicken paprikash, you just do the chicken in like a paprika sauce for a long time. Well, I take it off the bone, add it in with a bunch of broth, sour cream, and just make it into a soup with the really heavy dumpling noodles, I guess you would call them, but it's very good. My favorite thing. Takes a long time, it's one of those all day simmer type things.
God, that
I
sounds
gotcha.
so good.
Yeah, well,
Over the summer,
you guys
Dark and I
can-
we got together over the summer, and we had a cook-off every day we cooked different meals back and forth, and I'd say his deep dish pizza definitely won the event.
I don't know. I mean, that
incredible.
bolognese was really good. You simmered that the whole day, but I mean, and we cooked together the one day, right? Wasn't it breakfast or something? Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like to cook, and we're always swapping recipes.
It was like you guys got in the Discord and the chat immediately turned into, ooh, what are you making? And sharing recipes back and forth. It was so cute.
Yeah, you guys were like, what do you want to talk about on the podcast? And we just started talking about food instead.
Yeah, he was making those arepas and those things. Yeah, I love those things too. We was talking both, and they're probably like, what the hell is an arepa?
Yeah, I had no idea, but now I want one.
Very, very good.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get back into trivia. Sorry to shackle you guys back here, but I took down the map art because it kind of answers the question. Which party featured the Hogwarts castle and the map art warning of Baratorn swarms?
That
take this one, Dark.
Halloween 2019.
That is correct.
Ooh.
See that?
They're smart.
These first few are pretty easy. Now's when it heats up.
Oh.
And you guys can cash out at any point. I assume you'll want to keep going.
Who built the tower underneath the volcano at the 2019 Christmas base?
Pass.
Quick question. It was Turd... What Turd Boy? No, what was his name? Dark, what was the old meme that I had? Oh no. There was a character that I made up. It was a fake player named like Turd Boy or something. Turd Boy 420. I don't remember what his name was. But I anytime I would show up at a Christmas base or a Halloween base to build something and I found like an old base that was built by some new friend back in the day, like some relic, I would just drop a sign on it from Turd Boy 420.
Oh, that's awesome.
You bringing that up reminded me of something too, but I'll say that after our next question.
All right.
Reminded me of something.
Which party was hosted on the test server?
That would be Halloween 2022.
Is that your final answer?
No. Oh no, 2021. Halloween 2021. That's my final answer.
That is correct.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Almost
I was
lost
scared
it
for a
there.
second. I was scared for a second. See, no.
The years blend together, don't they?
So boom.
When we've done
I
9
have a
years of
question
this.
for you. And we haven't brought it up since, but Christmas 2020, there was one player that nobody knew who it was, and I'm wondering if you happen to know who that was. Remember that guy named Jesus Statue?
Jesus statue?
Yes.
No.
Showed up to the Christmas party, the 10th anniversary Christmas party. His name was Jesus Statue, and we were all, after the party, he was there walking around. I think he was early, too. I think that's why it was such a big deal. He was there like an hour or two early. But we never knew who that actually was.
Do you know who it was?
I thought maybe it was you.
No. No, I'm not
Jesus?
Jesus statue. I have a few other alts that you're not going to name right now, Meg.
I won't.
Yeah, I know those. That's why I was bringing up. You talking about that story, and it just kind of reminded me of the whole Jesus statue one.
I don't remember that at all.
Jesus
I don't know who it was.
No name changes. If this is you, please reach out. We could discover a mystery. Oh. Was there an underscore maybe? Or is it just one word?
There was a picture in the Discord. So, in the party Discord. So Meg, I'll give you that picture and you can post it with this little
Yeah, we'll make
segment right here.
a missing poster. Or do you know this
I
man?
remember seeing it, and that's what reminded me when I was going back and looking and seeing dates and stuff.
What year was it?
2020. It was the 10th anniversary
When
of
did
2b2tea, and it was our Christmas build. But December 2020 is when it was.
when was the Valley of Jesus?
That was
2022. Yeah.
Yeah, that was further along.
I was like,
yeah.
maybe it was Bob.
Mm-mm.
Bobbers. I love you, Bob. But no, that was way later. Okay.
All right, so we got 3 questions right, correct? Or was it 4? Maybe it was 4.
Three.
Yeah, right. 4.
I think it was 3.
I've got 6 questions here for a bonus.
So what happens if we cut and run? Do we get 1
you
chest?
get 18 shulkers.
Oh,
It ramps up. It goes 3, 9, 18, 27, 54. Don't judge the math. It's supposed to ramp up.
Here's what I'm thinking, Dark. We're pretty rich. I think if we gamble and we lose, it's not going to be the end of the world. We should go for it.
Well, we could come back when they're logged off, and we could just steal it too.
Whoa,
that's right.
I mean, well, I mean, I was talking about something we're doing later on.
We have security drones all across this place.
Yeah, we got cameras.
security?
CCTV.
Sorry, my sketchy pass is coming in play here. I didn't mean it.
All right.
Okay.
You guys want to do question 4?
Yeah, we're gonna go on.
We're gonna go for it.
We're gonna risk it all.
I think this one will be pretty easy for you guys because you guys did discuss this. So, which party had the most people, being 157, show up during its 24-hour running?
I know we had a lot at the trick or treat event. That was a lot there. I think it was 151 that came trick or treating with us. But if he's talking about just a single event, then it had to be that anniversary party, right?
Remember, he said within 24 hours.
Ooh, within 24 hours. So then not the anniversary party. So it has to be the trick or treating event in 2023. Halloween 2023 trick or treat event. Final answer. Lock it in.
That is correct.
Yes.
Right.
Let's go.
That's the first one.
The 10th anniversary was 141, according to
141.
141.
Meg, that was clutch. Not even gonna lie.
I was gonna be like,
3 hours.
repeat the question because I knew the 24-hour would be important.
All right, are we going for 5? You've got 20. You got 27
I say we risk it for the biscuit.
Let's go.
No pun intended,
all.
Fuzzy. No pun intended.
All right. At the 2023 Halloween party at SBA, what was depicted on the giant sign bill?
Nope.
Do you want to take it?
Cody Smiles was here.
That is correct. Oh
Yeah.
5 for 5.
I remember seeing that too. I'm like, who the hell would build something? Was that Posto? Who was
Pasto.
that?
Yeah, Pasto. built
Yeah, I
that.
knew it.
Yep. That's one of my favorite builds from him. It was so
Legend.
funny. Yeah.
We love Posto.
I do have a 6th
Custom.
bonus question just for the lulz.
Uh-oh.
Let's have it.
So, at one time, how many people were at the 10th anniversary 2020 anniversary Christmas party? Within 5.
You said at one time.
Hey. Yeah.
Like probably the highest there once.
Is this number even documented? Do we even know?
This is on the wiki.
So it's fact.
I want to say it was like around 120 or something like that.
I'm gonna guess it's lower. I'm gonna guess it's 85.
Well, the 141 was a 3-hour period. 141 unique names.
That's why I can't imagine that they have this documented.
But I thought I
time.
read somewhere. Chip Off or somebody else was talking about it in the chat when I looked it over the other day.
Dark, if you think you know the answer, I'm gonna defer to you because I don't think I know it.
This is just a bonus, so you won't lose anything.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I say 120, and Boom says, what do you say? 85?
85.
Okay, and how many shulkers are there?
This is for nothing. It's
Yeah,
just
but I
for
mean,
fun.
was it
Oh.
He wants to
54,
split
right?
it.
There's 54.
So whoever's closer
Oh.
takes 30, and the other gets 24. How about that?
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Wow.
Deal.
Up in the stakes.
So I'm gonna go with 120.
Sticking with 85.
Alright. It was 78.
Wow, let's go, Boom.
Wow.
Let's go!
Boomerang, I have my
Yeah.
fingers crossed. Sorry. When I said that.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
we
fingers
have
crossed
a-
didn't give you any extra luck. I still win. Sorry.
We have a correction, I guess. Gravy Train did the big Cody smile sign.
Oh, Gravy Train.
Maybe
All Shulkers
Pasto
lost.
bid it
Kidding.
or built it on the server, but I think Gravy must have designed it. Yeah.
Oh man, where the heck is Gravy Train anyways? He was part of
Just came back.
2023 Halloween,
Yeah.
and I haven't really seen him since. He just took time off and never came back, did he?
He's been back in SBA recently, helping
Oh,
out,
is he?
going to the
Okay.
base. think he's off and on.
That's cool.
Shout out Gravy Train, we love you.
Right?
I hope you're doing
Miss ya.
well. Miss you. I would love to see him come to another party committee base. He builds crazy cool stuff. We
Yeah.
love him to death. I miss
Yeah, I
that
remember
guy.
he had to build that big tree twice
Yeah. Fuck.
with the blue. What's that stuff in the nether? The blue trees, the leaves called?
Warped.
Warped.
Yeah.
That's what he used for his leaves, man. That thing was crazy. He built it twice.
Well, guys, I have one quick final question, and then we're gonna go to the basement. But who would you like to see on the next pod? Who would you invite if you were us?
You know, we've talked about him so much here. I think that, I hate to say it, but I think you should interview Jared. He would be a really great interview. He knows so much about the server. He's been around longer than just about anybody else I know. And when he tells stories, they are quite interesting ones.
Yeah,
I think he'd be a good guest to have.
I find Jared fascinating. That's a good shout.
I had one in mind, and then later on I had another one in mind. So could I tell you two, please?
Yes, please.
Okay. So my first initial thought was P5.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one since then would be Leisure. I
Both
think he
great
has so
guesses.
many interesting stories to tell, behind the scenes stuff that maybe
He's
he would like to share.
They're both great and very, very interesting people. I would love to have
But
them
Jared
both.
is also a very good suggestion. Not as good as mine, but it's still very good.
You might be able to get Lejerv on record telling us that baritone is backdoored.
You know, that is
Right.
certainly a
Well, we already
rumor.
have it. We already have it in good authority from the Reddit posts, right? So,
Yes, the knowers
Oh, yeah.
who were posting up on Reddit. Shout out. All right, so at this point in the show, the 2B questions are done, and we would like to invite you to the basement to ask a little story, to get some stories. If you'll follow me, please.
Come on, guys. Come
If
on.
you'll
Man,
follow
I was
me.
sweating bullets there for a little bit, Boomerang.
You guys didn't have to use any lifelines either. You can pull the
Yeah.
lines, pull the frame.
I didn't even know we had lifelines. I knew that Boomerang wanted them, but I didn't know that we were allowed to actually use them.
And you didn't.
It would have been
even
funny
need
if you
to.
guys asked chat. That's kind of
Oh,
what
yeah.
my idea was. You'd have to ask chat.
Right?
Oh,
I want to
yeah.
ask, I want a lifeline from Lukent.
Hello.
Yeah. Lukent's a
Yeah,
new
yeah,
party
I got
committee
you.
builder.
I was at the last one.
Oh,
You
look
guys
at
probably
the-
didn't even know that.
The little lights here. That's so
The one
cute.
single Christmas.
Oh,
light.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Very festive.
This texture pack is so fun.
There was a bat down here, but I don't know what happened to it.
They went extinct.
Yeah, didn't you see the video?
Where's Boomerang? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'll be back. I'm getting myself a seat. Hold on.
Oh.
Well, you
Shoot.
can just have mine. You can just have mine.
No. I just broke a
sit
part
on
of the
the
door so
stone.
I could get some extra spruce. Boom.
Perfect.
Got a chair.
Was it a half door? Did you break the half door?
No. There was
Listen,
a log, and I
listen,
turned the log
There
into
it
As
planks.
the #1 door finder
Wow.
on this server, it better not have been a half door.
That's
That's-
actually going to be our next guest on the podcast. Is
Boomerang,
Just
did you hear what I
spoiler
said
alert.
earlier?
Spoilers.
I said there was a bat flying around down here, but I don't know what happened to him.
Oh, I took care of it.
Is that your spooky story?
Killing a bat?
Yeah.
There you.
No, I just
Whoa,
killed
whoa,
it.
Animal
whoa.
cruelty? Alright. We'll
Yeah,
start
here
with Boomerang. Tell us a ghost story,
Up in
a
there,
scary
so.
story.
Get in the throne. This is the guest chair.
It was on a Christmas night, just like tonight.
No.
The
Oh, that's good. I love it.
party committee builders were preparing for their upcoming party event when all of a sudden they noticed their Dye Shulker was missing. They looked around, they looked high, they looked low, they couldn't find it anywhere. They went into the 2b2tea chat. Has anyone seen our Dye Shulker? They said. No reply. All of a sudden, they started hearing some explosions. It was a wither. The wither had just wandered into their camp. Where did it come from? Who's dropping withers outside their camp? The party committee builders looked around. They looked high, they looked low. They found more withers coming, more withers coming. They couldn't find where they were coming from. Then they figured out what had happened. We're getting griefed. They were playing on 2b2tea. Come on, guys. It's an obvious story. We all know what's happening. The Dye Shulker was missing. You should have known. You should have known what was going to happen.
Oh, that's good.
The end.
Incredible job.
Oh, I didn't even
Show
know it
up
was
and
the
tell
end.
me you can't show up and tell me I'm going to tell a ghost story 2 hours before I tell it and then expect it to be a good one. Come on.
You didn't watch the episode. All right. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Dark,
That was
please
funny.
take the throne and tell us your ghost story.
All
If
right.
you-
Well,
if you don't have a
I'm
voice.
just gonna say there's no over voice, no
Aw.
no special sound effects. I don't even really have a ghost story, but I do have a IRL story that's somewhat Halloween related, and so I'm gonna leave out names, but it basically family members. But one of the people that I know, they like to rebuild John Deere tractors, and one of the first ones they did was a Model G, and after he got done building it, I would say it was probably in the range of late September, early October, and he was like, "Hey, since I'm done with this, I want to celebrate it. We can have the family over, and I want to do a hayride." And so I was like, that's great. I said, so in the back of his property, he has paths. He's got paths that are pretty wide that the tractor could go down, and then we also sometimes we'll ride four-wheelers back there. So we got a lot smaller, narrower paths, and so we decided, yeah, we'll just do it around the middle of October. We'll invite everybody over. They can bring a dish over. We'll have a big bonfire, and we'll do a Halloween, not a Halloween, but a hayride. And I'm bringing over my Halloween stuff, and I'm going to decorate the trail. And this whole thing, just something small like that, got us started on Halloween event that we do every year. It started out with just a man redoing a tractor and us decorating a trail, scaring the kids, having a great time, to now we also decorate the four-wheeler trail, and they have to walk through it, and by golly, because the kids were saying, "Oh, this ain't scary. We're not scared," when they're riding the hayride, because they have other friends around them, and the tractor's always moving. They're not scared of people coming up. They feel protected. And so that's when we branched it off, and we're having them walk the trail now too. And it's good. It's just it's a good, fun event. Just like this party committee, you can do this kind of stuff in real life and have a great time. You don't have to be just behind the computer to experience this kind of stuff. You just need to take the steps to get with friends and sit down and talk with them and come up with ideas and have a good time for a party, not just on 2B.
That's really cute.
So,
I love that.
just something I wanted to share.
Do you jump out at the kids from the woods and scare them?
Oh yeah, I mean, after a while, we would get chainsaws. You'd take your blade off, so I mean, people don't get too upset about it. The chains go. You have the sound, but there's none of the hurt.
Yeah, just to scare them.
But the kids, they don't really know that, or they even know that, but still, you hear a chainsaw fire up and somebody coming at you with a mask on. It's not exactly time for tea and cookies. You're just like out of there.
That's so cute, though.
But I mean, big bonfires, cooking hot dogs over the campfire. There's nothing wrong with that. Hot chocolate, and just telling like Boomerang did. You tell stories, tell ghost stories, around the campfire, having a great time afterwards.
That is so wholesome. I love that.
So,
that's a good one.
I have actually. Let me add one more thing, Boom. I just thought of it, but one of the times, so we would set up dummies around the course or the path, and we would have them sitting in chairs, right? We would just take old clothes and we'd stuff them with newspaper, right? Put a mask on there, and they would go by it, and you would hear them going, "Oh, that's not scary," Well, so then I took that, threw the dummy into the woods, and myself, I sat down in that chair with the same mask. And when they came by again, I scared the heck out of them. Because they thought it was a dummy, and you did the old switcheroo, and they never took that kind of stuff for granted again. That was really good.
That's so good.
That's awesome.
All right, Boom.
I have a true 2b2tea ghost story. It's not really scary. It's more of a humorous story. So when we were building I think it was the 2018 Christmas party, or it might have been the 2019 Christmas party on the island. Something happened with my game, and it was a weird glitch. I had 0 ping, and I always had really low ping back then. I think I just had good internet, but at the time that this happened, I had 0 ping. That's what it showed on my tab menu. And I was able to play the game like normal. I could move around, break blocks, open chests. I could punch other players. But to the other players that I was around, they couldn't see me at all. Something weird had glitched out with my game, and it's like I wasn't showing up in their world at all. But I could still punch them, and I could still break their blocks, and I could still get in the way of them placing blocks. They just couldn't see me at all. So for a good week during the building of this Christmas party, I went around and trolled and haunted all of the other players in the 2b2tea party committee, and I didn't tell them what was going on until the joke had fully played its way out.
That's amazing.
And that was the closest thing to a true ghost story I've ever seen on 2b2tea. How
long did that last?
The glitch kept happening on and off for the next several weeks, and then it worked itself out by after about a month, it worked itself out, and I have never been able to reproduce it. Of course, while this was happening, I was DMing all of my programmer friends, and I was like, look at what this thing is happening. Try to figure out how it's happening so you can make an exploit out of it. And we were never able to really figure it out. But I think the glitch that was happening to me back then is what later on became God mode.
I was gonna say.
And you could trigger it to happen, and you could go and mess with other players while you were in their render distance.
Damn.
Did you convince everybody that the place was haunted?
Yeah, I was gonna say. The ghost of Housemaster. Because you would think, like, if somebody was fucking with you and they were invisible, that, like, it was House or something. Like, I could totally see that jump.
I mean, that's the way it
so.
was. You couldn't see names or anything like that during the God mode, so that could very well be what it was.
Early God mode.
Oh, hey, who's
Boom.
editing this episode?
Boom the hacker.
Firecat.
Firecat, you're editing it? Hey, you remember earlier when I said Turd Boy 420? That was not the correct name. It's Chump Tard. The name of the fake player that I used to make up was Chump Tard.
I remember Chump Tard, yeah.
I can see the confusion.
Yeah.
Chump Tard was awesome. That was his name.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, with that beautiful, beautiful revelation, we're gonna call it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for coming out and being on here.
Thank you for having us.
This was so wonderful. And we'll call it there. Make sure to like and subscribe and call Luke and a
Tardy boy.
Chum Tart in the comments. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for having us.
We'll call it there.
Hey everyone, Boomerang Village here. If you want to find out more about the 2b2tea Party Committee, you can find our Discord link in the description down below. And don't miss out on our 9th annual 2b2tea Christmas celebration happening on December 20th.